What's that smell? Oh man, I think it's Stinkor. What's up, everybody? It's Joneser, your favorite comic book guy.
Let's do this.
All right, it's Joneser here on the Motu Joneser channel here on YouTube. And we're going to do Stinkor today with Andra. I know these figures have been out for a while, but we're kind of playing catch up. I've got a bunch more to do, and quite honestly, we got to start doing some twofers and digging through them. And I thought, man, these guys have been sitting here for maybe a half a year. I can't believe I waited this long for this Stinkor. But anyways, if you're new to the channel, I would appreciate it if you'd give us a like or a subscribe, especially if you like Masters of the Universe related content, as you can tell, I'm a little bit of a fan. But anyways, we're going to dig into the lore of these characters, who they are, what they mean to Masters of the Universe, and we're going to open up these toys. Well, the character Andra first appeared in Masters of the Universe's Star Comics run. She was a very obscure character. I mean, most casual fans or even hardcore fans had never heard of her. She came up with Tila in the academy, as the Eternian Guardsman, and I believe she was Lieutenant Andra. Here's a great panel of her getting zapped by Mantana. I at least found this to be kind of amusing. Well, where most fans had encountered her before or would encounter her is in Kevin Smith's Masters of the Universe Revelation cartoon. She was voiced by Tiffany Smith, and I feel like she was kind of like a point of view character. Like if you were a new fan of Masters of the Universe and you weren't familiar with the lore, this character didn't know what was going on and had to get filled in as it went. And she was like Tila's friend or something. And she was also a technological marvel, and she was, in line to be the next man-at-arms. And I found the character to be, enjoyable and one of the brighter spots of Revelation. Well, now moving on to Stinkor here, my first introduction to him was this mini-comic, The Stench of Evil. He didn't appear in the Filmation cartoon. And Stinkor had a awesome power, is that he could use his stinkiness to repel or destroy. And Skeletor here in this mini comic, he powers him up in the where he can just be even stinkier, and he just like points his smelliness at He-Man, and even manages to defeat him. And the only hiccup there was Mossman could surround himself with oxygen from the trees of the forest, and then he could get near him and chuck him into this bin of flowers, which I guess the only thing the Stinky Man didn't like was anything that smelled good, which was kind of funny. Well, and then in Masters of the Universe Revelation, Kevin Smith had his buddy Jay, or Jason Mewes, do the voice of Stinkor. And he was like maybe in the show for like one line in a couple seconds, so that was what it was. Well, here we are in my little unboxing area, and I thought we'd enjoy the front of these packages before we dug into them. So we'll start with Andra, and she comes with a couple extra accessories, a blast effect, and an extra head of her being kind of masked. If you look at the side art there, they've got her there masked, and then on the back of this card is a really cool picture of her, going into battle. And probably the one gripe I'd have with Kevin Smith's portrayal of the character is she kind of seemed to me as like kind of a poor man's version of Iron Man. So, not really all that original, but I mean, it was neat to include, some diversity into the lore, as Masters of the Universe and some of the older intellectual properties didn't have as much inclusion of people of color. And so, they got that going for it. So moving on to Stinkor here. He looks great here in the box. He got an extra head, an extra couple hands, and the shield accessory. And then on the side art here, well, I think that looks really cool. That's a really awesome picture of Stinkor. And then, flipping around to the back here. And I really enjoy that look. And, with the oxygen tanks here, which, again, kind of make me wonder, like, I thought the stink emanated from him himself. And he didn't carry around, like, tanks of stinkiness with him. Or maybe he does, I don't know, in my head canon, that's kind of funny that a stinky guy would collect some stinkiness so he could just be even stinkier. Or, maybe he doesn't like his own smell, and that's why he's got the little oxygen mask thing here, so he can protect himself from his own stinkiness. I don't know. Stinky man don't like being stinky. Or maybe he does like being stinky and wants to be extra stinky and carries tanks of stinky. I don't know. I digress. We'll get these characters out of the box. Well, here we've got our Andra here out of the box. And she comes with 2 closed fist hands, 2 open hands, and 2 gripping hands, which is all fine and dandy, but I don't understand why the inclusion of the gripping hands when she doesn't even have an accessory to grip. It just seems like kind of a waste of money and tooling, if you ask me. She does have this extra head, which we will slap on her in a while, which is kind of cool. And she's got this blast effect, which you can stick in her little blaster arm here. If I can get that in there and get her to, there you go, pew, 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 right into your living room, folks. The other thing I think is kind of cool is this cape. I don't know if you could see the way it's folded, but it almost kind of works like a hoodie here. Like she can kind of put this hood on the way the cape's folded up. So that is kind of neat. Neat little feature. I'd have to say the soft goods on these Masterverse figures are pretty cool. But if you want to pop this cape off, see, it pops off real easy. And if you want to drop her on the floor, that's cool too. And see, take her head off there and put the masked one on. It just goes on this little ball joint. And there we go. And then I wonder if this hooded cape thing, okay, that's kind of neat how it works. And we could put that back on her and see if I can ever tie it the way it was supposed to be tied again. That's kind of cool. So, yeah. There's our Andra. And, yeah, I think she's actually kind of cool. She's got her little armor piece. I think she looks kind of neat with the mask on, and the hood. That looks scary as heck to me. But then she's not a friendly-faced good guy so much in that way. But anyways, there we are. Now we'll dig into the Stinky Man. One more quick thing I wanted to say about these Masterverse figures before we put Andra away is, if you're a person like me who likes to open them up, which is fine and dandy, with these Masterverse ones, they got a real neat feature where you can slap them right back into the original packaging, and then you can slide them right back into the original box. And you kind of get the best of both worlds for a collector, as you can display them in box and still get the joy of playing with them. And as you've seen, I had my little pegboard on the side of me there at the beginning of the video, where how I display my Masterverse figures, because they got those little peg holes there. So I think that's a very cool feature and very smart of Mattel to do that. So I just thought I'd point that out, because in other videos I don't know if I have. All right, here he is, Stinkor, in an epic pose of awesomeness. And Stinkor came with a gripping hand, which, again, I'll have to complain just like I did with Andra. I don't see the point. he doesn't really have much to grip other than, I guess, this shield accessory. But for the most part, most people use this kind of longer slapping hand to put the shield on him. But he did come with an alternative head that has this mask on it. And I would like to point out that the mask is removable, so you can get him with another look there. And then you can also just put it right back on. I think he looks pretty cool. I like the look of him. And he's got these little air tanks in the back, which again, they didn't make much sense to me, like unless he's just carrying around extra carts of stinkiness. But we'll do some stuff with him here. We'll pop this hand off. Oh, you'll have to bear with me. I'm trying to cameraman and play with the toy at the same time and keep you guys in the picture. So pop that little hand on and we can get his shield accessory on him. So I guess his offensive weapon is his smelly stinkiness, and then with his armor and shield, he is therefore able to defend himself. Well, we turn on the stinky tank. Oh yes, we are smelly goodness. Hiya, ting! All right, there he is with his alternate head, and if you like that look on him there, which kind of neat, and you can, like I said, pop the little mask off, and then he's got another look about him like that, and very cool figure. I don't know if it's just me, but mine seems to have a little bit of a smell, but it might just be, in my mind. I was told the Masterverse version does not have a smell to him. The original figure stunk. He smelled like patchouli. And here's an original Stinkor, and mine still has a little bit, I just dropped the shield, a little bit of that stinky smell to him. Let's see if I can get him to stand. These vintage figures are kind of a pain in the butt to stand. Let's see if I can cheat a little bit here. Get him to stand. And then we've got an Origins Stinkor over here, which these are a little easier to stand as they're a little more posable. And you can see the 3 different versions of Stinkor I've got. I don't have a Classics Stinkor. Classics was a little too rich for my blood and came out, I was late to the party. So I guess these Masterverse ones are a real great way for those of us like me that missed the boat on Classics to kind of get in on the figures in this scale. Stinkor, originally, we go back into our history lesson here. The original Stinkor was one of the famous repaints where they used a merman head and basically painted it like a skunk. Let's see if we can all stand up here to get to Stinkor. He's going to have to play lean on me. And then, so the merman head plus the mecha armor and repainted creates Stinkor. So do you see what they did there, Mechaneck? Oh yeah, I could see that from here. They used the same tooling to save money, which is kind of smart, I guess. Yeah, that's a pretty great idea, wasn't it, Mechaneck? Save money. Oh, that sounds evil. Well, okay, that was Andra and Stinkor, and as you can see, I'm still backed up bad with Origins and Masterverse figures to catch up on. So we figured we'd do Fisto, Jitsu, and Jitsu in a video, a threefer, which will be awesome. And then at some point, these are not necessarily going to come in order. Spikor and Battle Armor He-Man. I figured that because Spikor was kind of the blacksmith armor maker guy. And somewhere along the line, we will get into Terror Claws, Skeletor, and Catra, as we figure Scratchy, 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 they go together too. And then somewhere along the line, we'll get to this Roton, and then an empty shelf of He-Man figures. And I've done them all, except for all the more of them I keep buying.